Wings of Freedom is one of America's most successful sober living program. And you credit it to, and I think most everybody else that works around you credit it to the love of God and what else?
Well, I was going to say, it's like you got all the rules in place, you got all the boundaries in place, but if people receive that as if they're trying to control me, well, they rebel against that.
Yeah, they will.
If you're being forced to being controlled by something, you're going to rebel against that. But when it's presented in a manner of love, then you're willing to receive it. But if it's all about control, that's why a lot of programs don't work, because they're trying to control everything. I don't try and control anything. I let go and let God. What I try and do is control the atmosphere that person's in.
Yeah, the environment for sure.
The environment, because they have to be in that environment. There has to be...
Because it causes them to be stronger.
It causes them to make the right choices. It causes them to recognize...
Well, that's what makes the program as successful as it is because in a very short period of time when somebody comes into the program, they realize that the rules, the boundaries, the correction, and not just the negative things, or could be perceived to be negative, but the positive things, they're all there out of love. They're all there to help them come back into society and become successful, according to whatever that means to them. Success is different to different people, right? But when they realize that the reason we have a curfew, or the reason that we have a boundary on you can't do this or go there while you're in the program, is out of love. And it's because we've tried this, it's been tested, it's been proven, and we know that these things work, and that's the reason why the program has one of the lowest rates of recidivism of any other program in the state.
And when you see one begin to make a right choice, and then they reap the repercussions of a right choice, because it's always a blessing. When someone does what's right, there's a blessing behind what's right. When someone treats someone right, there's a blessing behind that. And you begin to find the purpose. Well, whenever you see the results of the blessing, well, you want more of that. You want more discipline in your life. You don't want to go out there past 10 o'clock at night, because there's nothing out there any good past 10 o'clock at night.
That's right. Nothing's good going to happen.
We say it all the time, and we say it to our kids all the time, and you're really confirming it.
Right. Well, there's nothing out there any good after 10 o'clock at night. And so, but when you realize that, hey, you're not going out there because we love you. You're not going out there because God loves you. And the last thing you need to do is go put yourself back in that environment. And they realize that, well, then they want to stay home at night. Then they want to get back to what's normal. What is normal? Well, you go to bed every night at a certain time. You get up every day at a certain time. You have something to accomplish every single day. At least one thing a day you need to accomplish, something to better your life. Well, people, I want to learn what wisdom does, or what knowledge does, or understanding does. Well, then they're beginning to change themselves. And that's God beginning to work in their life.
Yeah, one of the things that's wonderful about Wings of Freedom too is, I think a lot of programs, you feel the community when you do something wrong, right? Yeah. Somebody tells on you or rats you out or whatever, and then
I've heard that before.
Yeah, but in Wings of Freedom, I'm not going to say that doesn't, that is the case in all programs like this, but I see the community rallying around people when they do something right.
Oh, yeah.
As well. There's a big celebration when somebody meets a milestone, meets a goal, just does something as simple, like Pastor Dixie was saying, somebody just, getting up and accomplishing one thing a day. It sounds like such a simple thing, but for some people that have struggled with addiction their whole life, or incarceration, and they're not used to being on their own and managing their own time, when somebody accomplishes that small, simple goal, it is a big thing, and other people in the program realize that, and so they celebrate that with them. And
I remember years ago, I had a guy who graduated after 6 months, and he'd stayed clean for 6 months, but he hadn't been clean in over 25 years. And whenever he just announced it, you could feel the roar of the congregation. You could feel the roar of the people celebrating with him. Well, I can feel the roar
just in you, how it just welled up inside of you.
Oh, yeah.
You're just like, wow.
Well, you take a person that hasn't been sober in 25 years, every day doing methamphetamine, and he comes into
can't
your
even
program.
imagine.
He comes in your program for 6 months. You keep him clean, and his whole countenance has changed. His whole life has changed, and he's the one saying, "I don't want that life no more.
Yeah.
I don't want to walk down that path no more." To see that sobriety, to see that love, to see that change, yeah, it impacts your heart. It helps you to see salvation at work.